Today's letter is, what is going on in my relationship? Things seem to be changing. Well, as I've told you before, we attract people who look like us, who reflect us. And sometimes, it's really great. It fits like this. But then sometimes one person might start to grow, and so it fits maybe like this, and it's not exactly the right fit anymore. And if things don't change, if the other person doesn't grow with you, you do this. Sometimes you come back together, though, up here. In other words, sometimes you go apart and then there's growth, and you come back together on a higher level. Sometimes one person goes on. Sometimes one person does grow and catch up, and it fits again. Sometimes, though, a person starts to grow and this person doesn't like it, and they're challenged and afraid, and they try to change it and pull you back down to make you fit again, but you can't. Once you start growing, you really can't. Sometimes you'll freak out and you'll go back, but it's temporary, because once that growing spell is started, you're going to grow, and the best thing they can do is try to keep up, maybe spend some time apart to come back together, like I said. But if they don't reflect you, then you got to do some work to make that change so that they can reflect you, or you them. You should always beam loving thoughts to your partner. You should always be encouraging to your partner. If you find that yourself, you're constantly having to change that person, you need to take maybe time out and do some self-examination. What do you need to change about you? Rather than say, you need to do this or that, maybe you could say, what can I do to help you better? I think the more you give, the more you get. But of course, there's always some relationships, that are abusive or hurtful or just don't work. You do what you can, you can't do it, but I think sometimes people throw in the towel a little bit too soon, and they forget that sometimes, you got to go from your head and say, okay, I made a commitment to this relationship. Maybe there's kids or family, and if I do the right things, then maybe my heart will follow that. And I think very often we forget, that sometimes in a relationship, a long-term one especially, sometimes you look at that person and you think, what was I thinking? How could I have ever met this person, much less married this person? But a lot of times you wait and the love comes back. Sometimes you don't think it will, but when you put the thought into it, the love can come back. And so, I think sometimes we have to be careful that we don't leap out too soon. Now, always remember, in a new relationship, after about 3 or 4 months, somewhere around in there's usually a step back, and if a person's not ready, a step away. And relationships that start big, big bang, they usually do this. But sometimes relationships that start like this do this, and they grow. And you have to be each other's friend, and you have to be really kind. And when I'm saying you be good to your person, you deserve to be treated well too, and that's important. But you're not going to make somebody necessarily treat you well, like I said, so it's a good thing to balance it out. Are you again, you have to do a head, heart, and gut balancer, I think, to make sure that everything is feeling right with you before you make your final decision what you need to do. You don't never stay in a relationship where you're being mistreated, though, and if counseling and all that don't help, of course, get your counseling and all that kind of stuff. But don't ever say somebody's being mean to you or abusive or anything like that. Okay, that's it for today.